Hello and welcome to
Oh my goodness, not another podcast.
Woo. We
Yahoo!
are recording episode 25. This is a Thanksgiving episode, kind of, in a
Kind
way.
of.
Holiday. Now,
Yeah.
I tried to find like holiday articles and I failed miserably, probably because they will all pop up next week.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think this one here about men with beards are more attractive. If that's not Thanksgiving theme, I don't know what is.
Are you saying that they're bringing out their Well, it is No Shave November.
True. And didn't aren't like the Pilgrims? Didn't they have like those like chin strap beards? Or is that no? That's the Amish.
I think that's wait, what's that group's name? Smash Mouth. That's what I think it is, personally. um, as far as I know, none of these are going to pop up into any weird, like...
Pop-up stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there's any loud advertisements this week. But we can do this like one of two ways. Since we're on here, I can actually share a screen, or we can just kind of just talk about it. So either way is fine. But I did the poo story last week, and so I'm going to let you have the honors this week, and so you will have the honors of the poo story.
Okay, so oh Lord, it's got something yelling at me. Okay, there we go.
So it did. Well, luckily, I do see it at the bottom. But luckily, see, I have it silenced somehow. Anyway, it was in a window that could go away. Okay, anyway, yours, all yours. Go ahead.
All right. So this one says AI toilets. I initially read that as owl toilets, and I was like, what the heck? Toilets.
Well, they should put the little thingies in the top and the bottom.
So AI toilets will scan your poop to diagnose your ailments. So yes, AI that screens out spam and recognize your mom's face is so 2017. Get ready for smart toilets that'll scan your poop using artificial intelligence to save you a trip to the doctor. And I actually think this is an interesting thing. I think this is actually a really good idea. I don't know quite how it would work. I mean, are you going to have like, are you going to have like a smart toilet, like a toilet that can connect to the internet? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Well, I stole this article from one of my from a Facebook timeline from one of my friends. But here's the thing about this article. It reminds me. Did you ever watch Scrubs?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an episode where they go to this convention and there's something called Dr. Toilet. Okay. And then the main character of Scrubs, of course, is always having those hallucinations or whatever. Not hallucinations, but he was always kind of in his own mind. And
yeah, the cutaways.
Yeah, and so he had this cutaway where they had the Dr. Toilet, and Dr. Toilet had its like own office or whatever, and he would always accidentally go to the toilet on Dr. Toilet, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Da, da, da. That's what this article reminded me of.
Well, see, if this is kind of where the future is headed, then I think I'm excited for the future, because often I'm like, when I die, what am I going to miss? Are we going to like solve all these problems? Are we going to have teleportation? Are we going to have all these different things that have been theorized?
Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. Well, they've teleported I think they've teleported like individual hydrogen atoms. But anyway.
Well, if you watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they teleported and shrunk candy bars.
That's true in Mike TV. That is true.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, this also reminds me because there's this. I think this is actually kind of a cool idea. I don't know quite how it would work. I mean, they can have like laser scanners. It's like checking out at the grocery store or something. But there's that episode of Bob's Burgers. Do you ever watch Bob's Burgers?
I was curious about it because in one of my Geek Fuel boxes, I got this Bob's Burgers apron. And so I kind of had to check it out. So I watched the one where the dad was like trapped in the wall. That was weird.
Yeah, when the mother-in-law was in town.
Yeah. Yes. And he's like, "No, don't get me out yet." And so I've watched a couple, but I haven't like watched very many episodes.
Well, see, there was an entire episode dedicated to the son Gene. He finds a toilet in the forest, and it's this like super smart toilet that can talk to you, and it like plays
Oh.
music and all this different kind of stuff. And I don't know, man. It's weird because we've got all of this technology,
Hmm.
all of this innovation dedicated to toilets.
I think somewhere in this article it says that they just don't know if we know enough about poo to do this. But I mean, they analyze poo all the time, so I don't see why it would not work.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. How exactly would this work?
Hmm.
Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to like, I don't know, like chop it up and like, like how are you gonna analyze it?
I mean,
Because
as
you'd
it
have
goes through, there would have to be some kind of way. I don't know, but I saw that story and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to use it.
yes, yes, and I would say that you would have to. I don't know. Would it connect to the internet? I don't know.
Well, it would have to be connected to something that could analyze it. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, how fast could they return results? I mean, and how would they know whose poo it was? Would you have to like log
Ooh.
into the toilet and say, this is who is pooing right now? And I mean, would you have to? What if you logged it as the wrong person? What if you faked your poo? What if you
That's
said what if you said that you were someone else and you know, I mean, there's such potential for I don't know.
poo malfeasance.
Would it have to be like when you're voting and they give you like this number and you have to put your number into there and then you know how you log your number in and then you say that, well, that's my vote and da 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 da. Well, that's
Yeah,
how we log into our voting machines. You know, we have this number and you put your
yeah.
number in.
Your
But
very own poo profile. Yeah.
I guess. And so I mean I'm just not sure how it would work exactly.
It's like I use it after like my grandma or something, and then I go and find out that later on that day I have osteoporosis or something. You know?
Right, and exactly, and they just got the poo mixed up, or maybe there were traces of the previous poo. I mean, I, I can see problems with this, but it is I mean, it's interesting medically, but I could see they would have to make sure that there was some sanitation process between people, and I just don't know.
Let's see. One of the things that horrifies me, and I'm sure you've seen this too, are those like mail your poop to the doctor kits
Oh
to
God, yes.
like screen for cancer. And I don't know. That's just I don't know. You're like I don't know.
I
Like
don't know.
fish, like you're sending your poo through the mail.
I wouldn't be the one opening that up.
Yeah, I mean, and just thinking that's they probably got some like first year med student in there, or some lab tech or
Oh,
something.
poor student. Yeah.
I know, and they're like questioning their life choices because somebody's mailing them poop.
Oh goodness. Yeah. No, that's awful. I can't even imagine. All right, so if y'all have heard enough about poo, I'm going to talk about a man who survives a bear attack outside of his home by punching a bear in the nose. Um,
Oh, of course, it's from a Canadian website.
right, but it's in North Carolina.
Oh, and the pictures from the Rocky Mountain News. So this story's already all over the place.
Yeah, Denver, Rocky Mountains. Okay, so anyway, a North Carolina man has survived a black bear attack outside of his home by punching the animal in the nose. Sonny Pumphrey had a lucky escape on Tuesday afternoon when he went out to his driveway and discovered 3 bears in his yard. That right there has some interesting connotations.
Yes, we're thinking the same way.
It appeared to be a mother and 2 cubs, but while the cubs ran off, the mom remained. She made a charging dead run at me, Pumphrey told local television station WLOS. That sucker was eyeball to eyeball to me. Stunned, Pumphrey reacted with reflex and started punching. I hit her right dead on the point of the nose the first shot, and when I did, she went down and started trying to bite me right there. I would think so. I mean, who...
Yeah.
I just continue pounding and pounding and pounding, and she's continuing trying to bite me. She got a hold of me and then shook me a little bit, and then she let go and took a swat at me, and then she took a swat And when she took a swat at me, she knocked me about 8 feet over in the concrete. I believe that. Bears are really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey's wife, Betty, was inside their North Carolina home about to start dinner when she heard the commotion. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that.
I love how they call it a commotion.
Right?
Yeah, it's just a bear attack in my front yard.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Going to the front door with their Yorkshire Terrier.
Now, see, to me, that's you're not even halfway through the sentence there. I mean, right there, like those little Yorkies are going to come out. What's that thing going to do?
Oh, yap at it. Okay, Betty was shocked to see a bear attacking her husband.
I would hope so. Well, I mean, like, can you imagine if she wasn't shocked? Like this sort of normal thing. Like, oh, there's Dave's getting attacked by a bear.
Yeah. I seen her stand up and reared her paw back, and all I seen was a mouthful of teeth, she said. I knew he was going to be gone. The dog started barking, and with Humphrey and Betty screaming, the bear ran off. Afraid it may return, Betty got a gun from the house and fired into the woods. Humphrey suffered a bite to the hip and bruises. We have a lot to be thankful for because we're both very, very lucky, Betty said. Humphrey will have a series of rabies shots in the coming weeks, but admits he's lucky to be alive. I could have been dead. I could have been really cut up bad, he said. I've heard those claws are nasty. But I'm just thinking, he punched it in the nose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't punch a bear in the nose.
I don't know.
I wouldn't fight a bear at all. I would have gotten my butt inside. I'm not going to go toe-to-toe with a grizzly. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was it? He was just...
I would not go to...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So he doesn't really kind of the sequence of events here is being kind of called into question because he went out to his driveway and discovered 3 bears. Well, I mean, it's like, what did he like see them down at the end of the driveway and keep walking towards them? Because I was hiking one time and was just hiking up in the mountains, and I went and turned a corner, and there was a bear. I didn't like keep walking towards him. I like turned a corner and like instantly turned around because exactly that, right? What am I going to do? Punch it in the nose?
Well, I can see that since it was a mama bear, I can see her getting aggressive because it was a mama bear.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a bear running at me.
Yeah, you would. I don't know. You would think
I'm
you
going
would
to go back inside. I'm not going
to. Well, I think the real hero here is the Yorkshire Terrier.
Yes. Praise the Yorkie.
Yes.
Probably actually the dog barking is what startled the bear and had the bear run off. Doesn't matter how big the bark is. The fact that the dog barked is probably what had the bear go away.
Yep,
but oh my God. And so,
and isn't that how you're supposed to also take care of a shark too? Is hitting in its nose?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I heard that.
I don't. You're the one that lives near all these weird things.
Florida's the Australia of America.
I live smack dab. I live in Texas, close to the Panhandle. We don't have bears. We have cows, and we have some foxes. They're kind of cute.
What would you have, like rattlesnakes? That's about it.
Rattlesnakes, yes. Yeah. Bull snakes, definitely snakes. Any kind of snake. We have mice.
Yes.
Because we live right near a field, and so we get field mice that decide to get cold, and so we have ways of taking care of that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have to keep the house really clean to make sure that there's nothing left out. And having teenagers, that's fun sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we get a lot of bugs, of course.
Mm-hmm. When I lived in New Mexico, like the eastern part of New Mexico, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, we get the floating spiders that like. Oh, you have never. Oh, okay, you haven't heard of these? Okay, so come about September, October-ish, we get these floating webs that are like these ball of webs things that are full of little bitty spiders, and they're just floating in the wind.
No.
And, yeah, and then when they land on something, of course, they just kind of spread out. And so if you see them just like floating through the air, of course, you just don't want to go near them, because if they land on you, you're going to have spiders all over you. If they land on your car, guaranteed you're going to have several spiders that somehow make it through the cracks into your car because they're so freaking tiny. They'll land in trees and you'll end up with spider infestation. But yeah, they're like little, they look like little weird floaty, and they're spiders, and they're webs with spiders all over them. They're not like one spider. They're like covered in spiders, and they're webs that float. That's the weirdest thing we have here.
I don't think I have ever heard of that, honestly.
I wonder if I could look it up. But yeah, tell me what you were going to tell me, and I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah. Well, when I was living out in eastern New Mexico, and we would be driving to Colorado or somewhere, and we would go through the completely wide open, nobody lives there, like northeast part of the state, and we'd be on these like little tiny 2-lane state roads, and we would see something off in the distance, like maybe a quarter mile down the road, and we're like, is that a dead animal? What exactly is this? And then we get closer, and no, it's a dinner plate sized tarantula crossing the road.
Oh yeah, no, they can get huge.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I did find something about them.
Oh, let me see here. Oh,
here, hold on, I'll post it for you. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, and now it's an article from 2013, but it's talking about what I'm talking about. Apparently, they get them in Colorado too. But here you go. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, God, I don't know if I want to click on this. Oh yeah, they're just like silk strand. Is it just like a silk strand, or is
not always? No, not always. No. But they are. What he's reading. Okay, I'll read it. It says migrating spiders sailing through North Texas skies. It says thousands of North Texans are asking, what are those long silky strands or strings floating through the air? Now, we don't tend to get a string of it. We actually have floating webs, okay, is what we get. Turns out they're webs of spiders, see, in their annual migration to better hunting grounds, surprising a lot of people. Here, let me move it over here so I'm not facing the other direction. Okay. I thought it was weird. I'd never seen it before, said Mirna Olivas, who first noticed it driving in her car, and then later she dropped her son off at school. It landed on my head and it left again, she said, adding, it's a big stripe of a spider web. I couldn't recognize it until it got closer to me. The natural phenomenon was first noticed early Wednesday morning. This was in 2013, like I said. They're called ballooning or floating webs made by young migrating spiders. There's some that produce a ball like a balloon. See, that's what we have. We have like the balls things. And there's some they call tent spiders because they create almost like a triangle. See? According to Texas A&M AgriLife horticulturist Patrick Dickinson. They were strung across North Texas in trees or on lampposts, even on a surveillance camera atop Dallas City Hall. Car dealers washed them off their prize offerings. Not everyone thought them merely a weird nuisance, according to Dickinson. Some people did not know what it was and were scared to go outside of their homes. Other people thought when they saw them in trees, like you're seeing here, that there was something wrong with their trees. And so it's real. I'm not crazy. This really does happen.
That's, because I mean, I'd seen pictures from, I guess, Brazil or something like that, of like these trees that were trying to escape these spiders that were trying to escape the rain, and they'd crawled up into the trees and just laid their webs. And
no, it's a spider migration thing. We have them around here, and it's the weirdest thing ever.
I guess I didn't know spiders migrated. Okay, well, there you go. I learned something.
It's a real pain in the butt. They're not dangerous or anything. Like I said, they're really little, and this says they're even babies, you know?
Yeah.
But it's it's really annoying when they get into your car and get all over the place because you've got them. They're so small and just like I don't like spiders very much. And so, yeah. But yeah, that's what we get. We get the floating spiders.
No. I could do without flying spiders.
Well, at least you can see them coming.
I suppose.
You're paying attention. It's not dark.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right. Let's keep adding qualifiers.
All right. Well, you can pick the next one.
This one. This is. I'm unsure what this says about me. Oh, no, hold on. This one here about, let me see here, let me have it pull up here. Study says men with beards are more attractive. And I guess this is good for me because I don't really shave as much as I should. I'm a bit lazy with my shaving.
So you're a man with scruff. You're a man with scruff. Is that what you're saying?
It enhances my natural rugged masculinity.
You know, I did consider posting 2 versions of this particular podcast, both just an audio one and then a video one.
Yeah. No, I don't want to get sent push notifications from Cleveland News. That's okay. Right. So a new study shows men who have full beards are more attractive than men who are clean shaven. The study was published in the Journal of Evolutionary Biology. Researchers, I'm assuming that's researchers, asked more than 8,500 women to rate men on their attractiveness as a long-term romantic partner. And here's how the facial hair rated. Number 1 was heavy stubble, so 10 days. I don't know. When I go 10 days without shaving, I don't know. I don't know.
It gets itchy after a while.
It does. And I got to itch it. And then I have to, I trick my daughters. Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't look right. Anyway, sorry. 2 full beards, 3 clean or light stubble, and 4 clean shaven. Beards may be more attractive to women when considering long-term than short-term relationships, as they indicate a male's ability to successfully compete socially with other males for resources. Beards, the researcher said, are associated with a man's age and masculine social dominance. Okay. I guess I can do that.
Wait. Okay, as a man, how in the world does a beard signify a beard? By the way, not a beer, a beard. Signify being able to successfully compete socially. What does a beard have to do with social stuff?
I don't know. Maybe it just speaks to the lizard part of our brains or something like that. I don't know.
Now, this is coming. My husband has a goatee or a beard.
Well, there you go.
And I prefer it. I prefer that he has. I really like it. When he shaves it off, I tell him to grow it back. I like it. But my question is, and my question is, what does that have to do with competing socially? I don't understand that particular statement.
That might be, well, I mean, since this was put into let me see here, this was actually looks like it went to an actual legitimate journal, that might be some sort of jargon within the discipline. Here we go. So I actually clicked on the thing itself, the paper itself. And the full one is The Masculinity Paradox. Facial masculinity and beardedness interact to determine women's ratings of men's facial attractiveness.
Beardedness.
So, beardedness. That's a fun word, beardedness.
Beardedness.
Well, more beardedness. So anyway,
beardedness. Anyway, okay, we should move.
That's one of those fun words that you can just say anytime. It just makes you laugh.
Okay, we're going to be saying it for the next week. We're going to be walking up to people. So,
how's your beardedness?
Oh, Lordy.
Let's see.
No, you were saying? Sorry about that.
Oh, I don't even remember what I was saying.
The beardedness interrupted you. You clicked on something. You clicked.
There was a link to the actual journal article, and I'm not seeing anything, at least in the abstract, about social. What was it? Social dominance. What did they say? What did they call it?
Successfully compete socially with other males for resources. It's I have a beard, so therefore I can gather What? Pelts? I can skin a cow. I don't understand.
No, it was like her. I have a beard. So.
I mean, you can successfully compete socially with other males for resources. Okay, if I'm not thinking caveman, okay, so resources now, I guess, would be money or prestige or respect.
Yeah.
I know men with beards that are just as much idiots as men without beards.
Uh-huh.
And I know men without beards that are just as nice and respectful as men with beards. And so I just don't understand that statement.
Okay, see, this is one of those things. See, and I'm sure you, as a fellow math and science nerd, would probably appreciate this. But there's a problem between kind of research and presentation to the public of said research.
Okay, that's true. I'm trying to put it in layman's terms, but then you try to you for lack of a better way to put it, you dumb it down enough to where it makes no sense.
Yeah, and you know,
So
just even in this, even in just in abstract. I mean, they weren't even using like pictures of actual people. They were like computer simulations. They were computer.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, what would they be, avatars? And
do you want to date my avatar?
Yeah, date my avatar, right? Hey, we got a business.
Do you understand that reference?
No.
It's from the Guild. I'll send you a link later.
Okay. I'm not too much of a gamer. I have my little Clash of Clans.
Yeah, I know. It was something that made me wonder if I could be your friend years and years ago, but I decided it was okay.
Yes, back in the day, what was it? Geometry? Where we met? Where did we
Geometry?
Meet?
Yeah, we met.
Yeah, geometry class.
Well, actually, I think we met on the bus, but we were in geometry too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah. I mean, these aren't even like real people. They're avatars. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything about like, you know, I can skin a calf better because I have a beard. It looks like it's just because what is it? They've done all these studies that say, you know, the more symmetric your face is, the more attractive you are, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Symmetry does have a lot to do with how people perceive beauty. But then that can be marred. Of course, on a magazine that works, but then once you meet a person, that can be marred by how they present themselves. You can very quickly see someone as ugly after you've met them, just by their behavior.
I always thought that would be like a really great pickup line in a bar. Like, you walk up to a woman and say, "Damn, baby, your face is symmetric." I always thought that would be a really good pickup
Only
line.
if you're in a math nerd bar.
Yeah, I don't know. Would that not work?
No, probably not.
Oh, well, damn.
No.
Well,
okay, so yeah. All right, so I don't know if I should let you do another one or I should do one. I did 2 in a row. Let's see. I will do this one. This one is one of those that I found it, and then 2 days later someone posted it on Facebook. I swear I didn't steal it from the person who posted it on Facebook. I found it, and then they posted it later. Okay, so this one's really sad. The names have been changed to protect people, apparently. Well, at least the bride's name was changed. I don't know if the groom's name was changed. All right, so this is really sad. It made me sad, at least. All right, so this was from dailymail.com. It's from the UK. It says, I took a big breath and I told them the truth about Alex. Jilted bride reads her own cheating fiance's racy affair texts on their wedding day instead of her vows.
Damn.
And so it says, for many brides-to-be, the night before their wedding is one dominated by excitement, nerves, and anticipation of seeing their groom at the end of the aisle. This was also the case for Casey, and there's a little star because they changed her name, until a shocking stream of illicit texts derailed the wedding and turned her world upside down. The shocking chain of events was revealed on a tell-all piece on Whim, in which Casey divulged she exposed her cheating fiancé, Alex. As she sipped pre-wedding champagne in the company of her bridesmaids hours before the ceremony, a message from an unknown number lit up the room. What appeared on the screen was a message asking Casey, "I wouldn't marry him, will you?" A series of illicit screenshots were also attached detailing her fiancé's X-rated relationship with another woman. "This weekend, you and I, it's on, hot stuff. Bring your A game," Alex wrote in one of the messages. "Your body is effing incredible." And, well, I don't know how to shorten that one. "And poop, do you know how to use it?" I'm only because I'm keeping the clean tag on here.
Yeah, well, they do have the asterisks in the article.
Yeah, in the actual article, they cover it up too. "I wish my girlfriend had half the skills you do," said another. Alex then revealed to the unknown woman that he had never had this kind of connection before. Casey, devastated and shocked, burst into tears shortly before concocting a plan of attack against her soon-to-be ex. Refusing to call the wedding off, she decided to spectacularly end the relationship by reading the text out during her wedding ceremony. As she approached the altar, Casey said her fiancé had no idea what was coming. "I arrived at the front of the room, took a big breath, and I faced our friends, our parents, and I told them the truth about Alex," she shockingly revealed on whim. Reading out every single illicit message she had been forwarded, Casey spectacularly exposed her groom in front of everyone they knew. And after Alex scurried out of the church with his best man in tow, she didn't waste any more time on the relationship. "There will not be a wedding reception today, but instead there will be a celebration of honesty, finding true love and following your heart even when it hurts," she said to the crowd before they and the newly single bride enjoyed one hell of a party.
They're going to make a movie out of this.
You think so?
They're going to, if they haven't already, they're going to make a movie out of this.
Well, this article is from just a couple days ago. It's from the 16th or 14th. Sorry, it's only the 16th. I just barely got these, but wow. I mean, wow.
That's hardcore. I get it. I get why she did it. That's hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I would say she didn't have very much respect for her fiance. She should have talked to him privately, but then again, he didn't have very much respect for her either.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously he was doing something behind her back, and if he's doing something behind her back before the marriage, he's probably going to do something behind her back after the marriage.
Yeah. I wonder if he had a beard.
I don't know. According to the pictures, I don't think so.
That would explain a lot. You know how those bearded men are.
Yeah. They are attractive to other women. No, but I don't know if I would have done it the way she did. But then again, finding out the day before the wedding. Also, who sent her these texts? Obviously, it was the woman that he was having the affair with. And why did this woman he was having the affair with wait until the day before the wedding? Obviously, there was a motive behind that as well.
Guilty conscience, I guess, maybe.
No, she didn't want him to get married.
Yeah.
Think about it. The man that she's been sleeping with is going to get married, and therefore...
I don't know. I guess she thinks it's all going to stop. I don't know. All I know is that, like, my screen is filled with ads for Instant Family. There's like 9 ads for Instant Family on my screen right now.
But you already have a family.
Yes, and give the listeners a little behind the scenes here with the advertising that pops up. No, seriously, I mean, like, I got Mark Wahlberg staring at me in 9 different directions.
There are ladies who would love that.
Not bearded.
But he is Mark Wahlberg.
True. Yes.
But I mean, I don't know if I would have. Okay, if that had happened to you, would you have handled it the way she did? If you had found out that your fiance, I mean,
no. I mean, I probably would have done it like you said, you know, like in private or something like that. I mean, you know, if stuff got real and, you know, it's called for, then, you know, okay. But yeah, no, I'm wondering. Yeah. I guess, you know, the timing, maybe she didn't have time to herself or something.
Surely she would have time to call off the wedding, and then he would ask why, and she'd be able to tell him.
One would think.
I mean, what he did was bad, but she had, I mean, that was cold.
Yeah.
Because that was
I
in
get it.
front of everybody.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
And
I
so,
guess.
I mean, I understand it because she literally, since she found out the night before, she was mad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but wow.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine his parents finding out?
Oh God. And so yeah, I'm sitting here scrolling to the bottom and kind of reading the rest of it, and I don't know if you like those random advertisements on the bottom of
What
those
is it with
articles.
you and the ads?
Does anybody ever click on those? I mean, everybody knows that that's just nonsense junk. I mean, does anybody ever click on those ads? Like there's one of like this like faceless, like putty man taking a dump. And then there's like this woman getting like lice combed out of her hair, and it says thinning hair. An ancient Chinese woman has a cure for that. And I'm like, nobody clicks on those, do they?
I don't know. There's people that have comments down here. It says raw turkey recalled amid salmonella outbreak that officials say could be widespread just a week before Thanksgiving holiday, and there's 41 comments on that one.
So, see, now there's what's that real pop? See, this I'm going to show my gaming ineptitude here. Was it Fortnite? The one that's
Fortnite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where like people do those like crazy celebration dances. That's right.
All of them have celebration dances. WoW has celebration dances. World of Warcraft.
Yeah, no, it's not
Fortnite has dances. Almost all of them have a dance emote where you can.
Yeah, because there's now I didn't click anything, but there's now a video of a man playing Fortnite on my computer, and I didn't do anything. I didn't click on it.
It's because you scrolled down too far. You went into the.
I went into the nether regions. Yes.
Yeah, you went into the creepy zone because you scrolled down so far. It's your fault.
Yeah, I was watching. I forget what I think it was something on like ESPN or something like that about like these professional video game players and the professional Fortnite player Ninja, and how this guy is just raking in the dough. And I knew that you could be a professional gamer, and I know you could make money off it. This guy's like a millionaire, like several times over. And I think that's kind of amazing. I mean, it makes me feel old, honestly.
You realize we know a professional gamer, right?
We do?
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't think I did know this. Now you've got me intrigued.
We at least know someone who has dabbled in it. Yes. Like I said, I'll tell you later.
Okay, yeah, it's not me.
Yeah.
I like to play my Wii.
You're weird.
I like Wii bowling.
Definitely weird. Okay, so your turn. We have one more. I do not have a heartwarming story this week. I'm sorry.
Well, it may not be heartwarming, but it'll certainly warm your food.
There's that. I did save that one for last.
Oh my sides. Oh my God, so witty.
Oh, the corniness.
But have you ever tried it on corn? It's really good. Anyway.
Yeah, it goes with your Doritos post from earlier this week.
Oh,
anyway.
dude, I was so happy. So, and I know that it's like lame and weird, but seriously, like I hadn't seen Tapatio Doritos in.
Apparently, you and Brian are both like, woohoo!
Yeah, oh my God, it was awesome. I bought every single bag they had.
That lame? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, okay. Anyway, now that I've kind of. Anyway, this all has to do with this story, right? So, police, hot sauce used as weapon in store holdup. So, and this is, God, I feel like we're going to have a running theme of like Florida man is going to make an appearance at least one time per episode. When I read this,
we have a running theme of dumb criminals. That's usually what it is. I try to find criminals that are really not funny. Well, they're funny because they're so
Yeah,
Or
I thought this was like, oh, okay, this probably takes place in Florida, but no, it takes place close to Florida. But so police say an Alabama man threw hot sauce on a 73-year-old store clerk during a holdup. The Opelika Auburn News reports that police in the East Alabama town of Valley arrived at a convenience store Sunday morning to find the clerk in pain with orange liquid on her face and in her eyes. The woman told officers a man came to the register to buy 2 pieces of candy and flung a cup of liquid into her face when she opened the drawer. She told officers the man then began grabbing cash. And officers later determined the liquid to be hot sauce. Now, this I think begs a question: what would be the best hot sauce for robbery? I don't know. I mean, because like,
habanero.
yeah, probably habanero. I would think I've got some. Or I don't know, like Tabasco. Tabasco's vinegar
We are
based.
not, just so you know, we are not condoning using hot sauce as a weapon, nor are we condoning robbery.
No, we're simply exploring the different aspects of the pluses and minuses of each hot sauce for ulterior motives.
I just had to add that because anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a good qualifier.
Yeah.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, because yeah, I've got some. When I lived in New Mexico, I had a buddy of mine who loved to torture me because he knew I liked hot stuff, and he would find the hottest stuff that he could find and give it to me because he knew I would eat it. It was part of his joy in life would be to
see your face turn red.
Yeah, and of course I would do it because I'm an idiot.
At least you admit it.
Yeah. And he gave me this bottle of hot sauce, and I've still got it. I mean, I can't imagine anything's growing in it because anything could, but this bottle of hot sauce is like 6 years old, and I've used hardly any of it because you can't eat it. Like I take a toothpick and I dip it in there, and I just like whatever is attached to the toothpick, I put that on stuff. And sometimes that's even too much.
Oh, is it like this? There's this stuff that's in there's this one kind and there's several kinds of it. Oh, it's called ass kicking hot sauce. Mm-hmm. And I see it in of course in some Texas stores, but I see it in World Market all the time.
Yeah, when I lived in New Mexico, they had the Fiery Food Show, which was a hot sauce and barbecue sauce and salsa show. And I would go every single year. And there would be times in which kind of the smaller the bottle, the worse the news. And there was this one booth where this guy pulls out, I was like, 1 to 5, 5 being the mildest, 1 being the hottest. And I tried the 1 and I was like, Arr! And then he says, "Oh, you like that?" I was like, "Yeah, that was pretty good." And so he reaches behind like this display that he had, and he pulls out this little tiny bottle. He's like, "Well, this is zero sauce."
Oh God!
Like, "Oh, what's zero sauce?" Well, it's like, "Well, if 1 is the hottest." I'm like, "Oh God! All right." So then, what did I do? Yeah, spoon it up.
Of course, you tried it.
Oh, of course I did. And when stuff is that hot, it takes a second. And so I get it, I try it. Yeah, and then it hits, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta find something. So I'm like sprinting through the ballroom where the show was held. I'm like sprinting through the ballroom, like knocking down all these old ladies, trying to get to the ice cream because they had ice cream out there because it was cold and it has dairy and it helps your tongue. And I'm just like sprinting through the hall, knocking people over, desperately trying to get to this ice cream. And then I had to like sit on the floor, and I was like balled up in pain. And so, yeah, I guess you could use hot sauce as a weapon. If you were...
Well, and just so you know, they did catch the guy. That's in the article. Mm-hmm. They caught him. They said police say 42-year-old Michael Brisky of Lafayette is charged with robbery and theft. Court records aren't available to show whether Brisky has a lawyer. And so they did catch the hot sauce bandit.
Hot sauce bandit.
No, what I was saying, there's this hot sauce called ass kicking hot sauce. They have smart ass hot sauce, dumb ass hot sauce, lazy ass hot sauce, and pain in the ass hot sauce. And it's supposed to be, I don't know, I've never tried it because I'm not much of a hot sauce person.
I used to have a membership in the Hot Sauce of the Month Club, but I couldn't eat it fast
Ooh,
enough though.
chill.
But yeah, I
I
some of
can't
this,
imagine him.
yeah, some of the stuff that some of these people make is just I don't know how people eat it. I
Well, I
honestly,
imagine they don't want to taste their food because you make it hot enough and you can't taste anything.
yeah, I mean, like I
Nor can you
love,
taste anything for 3 days later.
yeah, I mean, it's like seriously, it'll like you can't even like put it on your hands, get it on your hands because it'll like burn your hands, like chemical burn or something.
Or, God forbid, you get it anywhere near your eyes.
Oh
Or,
God,
I
I've had
mean,
that happen once.
and then, I mean, the issue, of course, is if um, you can get it to the point where, just, yeah, no, I like to taste my food. I
Hmm.
really do. And so I tend to not put a lot of hot sauce in there. I love salsa, though.
Oh yeah,
Salsa's good, as long as it doesn't have too much cilantro.
yeah,
Not a fan of
yeah.
cilantro. I love homemade hot sauce. Oh my gosh.
And I've actually got a story that can go along with this, but I don't know if I should tell it. I guess I'll give maybe an abbreviated version, but
Okay.
um, I went to school in Austin at UT, and I lived in a co-op for a year. And co-ops are, you know, basically if you live there, you basically own the property, you run the property. It's, you know, like it's a co-op, and known for being rather liberal bastions in many senses. Um, but this one girl, I'll never forget this. This one girl, she decided she was going to drop acid, as one does,
Oh
and
yeah, we just do that on a regular basis.
yeah, yeah, I had loaded up before we started, but
Yeah. No, we
but they,
don't. By the way, no, we don't. Keep going.
no, we don't.
We
But yeah,
don't.
she decided that like one wasn't enough, and she ended, I think, taking like 3 or 4 hits. And so she got it in her mind that it would be a good idea to, you know, break into the kitchen because the kitchen was closed at the time. Break into the kitchen and grab one of those like big bottles of Tabasco and started chasing people around with it, shaking it at people, and everybody was like, "Oh, look at I don't remember her name. Look at Sally, and you know she's tripping and throwing hot sauce on everybody." And then she got a hold of the knives.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and
not good.
yeah, no, it ended up not being real pretty, but she didn't hurt anybody. She ended up hurting herself, and she had to get taken to the hospital. And
Yeah. I'm glad people were there with her.
oh yeah, and then the next day, it was weird. I can't really describe like how I felt, but like, you know, the next morning I see this cab pull up, and she just gets out of the cab. She's completely just out of it still. I mean, you know, probably still not high. She was in the hospital, but you know, just completely out of it, and just kind of shuffles into, you know, her room, and didn't see her the rest for like a couple days. Like, wow, man,
I guess that she
that
was
was
tired
yeah, I guess that would be.
or embarrassed.
I don't know if it was embarrassed, but yeah, yeah, that was something.
Um, yeah, that's
So anyway, to kill the vibe,
definitely a different story. Um,
yeah, cool story, bro. Way to go.
dude, I just, wow. But she was okay.
Yeah, yeah, survived. Yeah,
That's good. Did she stay there the whole time? Was she able to go back to classes? What happened?
I don't know. There were some shady folk. I have no idea what any of like half these people were doing there, but they were all nice.
Ultimately that's what happens. People sometimes when they're experimenting with things, sometimes if they're not sure what they're doing, that's oftentimes what'll happen
Mm-hmm.
when stuff like that happens is they don't realize maybe she didn't realize how much she was taking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet that's probably what happened.
Yeah, and that's like one of like 30 stories I could tell you from that year. That's just one year.
When you
That was
live
an
with a lot
interesting.
of people, I think there's always a lot of stories that go with that.
Yeah, there was about 60 maybe that
In
lived in.
one place.
Well, it was like a compound. It was a couple buildings, but it was
Okay.
on a fairly small plot of land. But you know, each building was like 4 stories. Um,
How'd you end up living there?
My
Just
mom
curious.
found it for me.
Huh?
My mom found it for me because she didn't know what it was, and I
Did you
didn't know
tell
what
her
it
this
was.
story?
I don't know. I think she now knows this story, right? The statute of limitations on telling stories, expires when you become an
After a
adult,
while.
right? Um, but yeah, was when I transferred to Texas, I needed a place to stay, so we picked up one of those like apartment guides, and it said, consider living here because it's really cheap. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's really cheap. That'll be nice.
Tend to get what you pay for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least part of the reason why it was cheap is because the people who lived there, they ran everything. They cooked all the food, they did all the maintenance, they did all that stuff.
Right.
So that's at least part of why it was cheap. But I just needed a cheap place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom said, "Oh, here, let's check this place out." And looking back, it was kind of hilarious because I know I now know this. They keep like one of the apartments, I guess you call it an apartment, one of the apartments clean, and then they put the respectable people live in that clean apartment. And I think that's where they take the people on tours who are like with their moms, because the rest of the place was like not like that.
Just the one apartment was good.
Yeah, and
Everybody else,
yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious too, because you get a bunch of like hippies who are more interested in smoking pot than anything. They're not going to clean.
I wouldn't know. You could meet a clean hippie. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point when I didn't even open up the fridge anymore. I didn't bother opening the fridge anymore because I was horrified as to what was going to be in there.
So did you just kind of keep your own cooler? You had to eat at some point.
Yeah, they had so each individual building had their own refrigerator. But we also had a common dining area. So, the people who lived there, they would cook breakfast, they would cook lunch, they would cook dinner. So that's where I ate all the food that everybody cooked in the dining hall. So yeah, that's what I ate. But I didn't keep food.
But it came out of the refrigerator. So whether or not it was cooked, it came out of.
Right, but those were the refrigerator. The gross, nasty ones were the refrigerators that were in the individual buildings. But the kitchen had its own refrigerator that somebody was in charge of. That was their thing. Was the kitchen refrigerator. That was clean. That was totally fine. But yeah, the ones in the individual apartments were just nasty.
I got you. All right. Well, that was an odd way to end out this podcast.
Gotta keep them wanting more, right? Gotta keep them going.
Yeah. So Mike's got tons of stories we've just learned. Lots and lots of stories.
Now I'm gonna have to be pick and choose which ones I'm gonna have to tell now.
That's okay. We keep it real. That's what we do. Keeping it real.
I know you're starting to regret your decision about asking me to come back now, aren't you?
Nah. Never. No, actually, I'm not at all. So Mike is gone all next week.
Yes.
He's going away for Thanksgiving, visiting family and stuff.
Yes.
And I don't know what I'm doing next week. I'm working for a while, and then I'm cooking all day. Last year, we got this Thanksgiving dinner from Cracker Barrel.
Nice.
They had this ones from Cracker Barrel. Well, it was okay. The kids, though, were disappointed. Well, they had you had these things that you could buy, and gosh, the sides were huge. They were these gigantic pans of things. But then all they gave you for meat was if you had a turkey and you took the top and you sliced off the top, just a little bit of the top, that's all it was of the turkey. And so they gave you gigantic huge sides and then a tiny bit of turkey. And they said that could feed 4 or 6 people, and we were
no,
how is that possible? And so it was this little sliver of white meat, little tiny. It's like I said, just chop off the top of the turkey.
Nice.
Before you get to the bone, and that's all it was. And then, so I went and got a ham. And then, it was because I was going to be working a lot, and we didn't have time to shop. And so we were just okay, let's just do this. And so the kids decided that since last year was so disappointing, disappointing. That was their word. That was their words this morning. Because I asked them, my husband and I were talking this morning whether we want turkey or ham, and I was saying, how I'm probably going to have to cook this big old meal. And my husband's like, why do you have to cook this big old meal? And I said, okay, well, what side dish would you like to take away? And he went, well, we really don't need the cranberries. And I was like, I don't make cranberry sauce. He's like, exactly. I was like, okay, so the one thing you want to take away is the one thing I don't make? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. And so we decided to ask the kids whether we wanted turkey or ham or both, right? Well, they decided, since last year was so disappointing, that we need to have both.
Oh, there you go.
So we're going to be eating like leftovers until Christmas, when I have to do it again.
Yeah, you can make a turduck ham, right?
Or turduck ham instead of
turduck ham. Yeah.
I don't think I can get duck around here. Unless someone shoots one. But then we have no water around here, and so there's nowhere to find a duck.
Yes, there is no water out that part of the country.
No, we really don't have any water. But so anyway, yeah, disappointing.
Yes. Thanks, Mom.
Well, they agreed to do it last year. They're like, we know you're busy, you're tired, it's okay. We suppose, and their stipulation was like, as long as you're going to cook for Christmas. Because, they want Mom's cooking. Mm-hmm. Well, this year, no, we're not doing that again, Mom. You are cooking both times. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then you're helping. So, you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
You as well. And everybody listening,
yes.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy
Thanksgiving. And if you are not in the United States, because we have some overseas listeners, Happy Thanksgiving, even though you don't have Thanksgiving. On Thursday, have a really big dinner.
There you go.
In honor. In honor of Thanksgiving here. We eat a lot of food this Thursday, and so you guys should eat a lot of food too, because it's fun.
There you go.
So have Happy Thanksgiving and eat a lot of dinner, or eat a lot of food in honor of us. I will consider posting this video. If I do it, I'll probably do both. I'll do video and I'll do... All you're going to see is our facial expressions and us making faces at each other. Mike just made a face. In honor of that, I suppose. Yes. And so, anyway, we'll see. I'll decide.
Yep. All right.
All right. Well, this has been a while now, and so we should go. Anyway, okay, so, bye!
Bye!
Bye! See you soon.